Hello. I am making a video with my Cookie Monster and with the Velociraptor and Paul. But Paul doesn't want to be shown, and he is holding the baby dog in his arm, and I can't show them right now for reasons of personal protection. So, which doesn't make sense, but it is raining outside. It's nice in here. We have the heaters on. I got my painting above me. This is Paul on the side, the papa dog above him, me in the middle, and on the left is Kenny, who was at that time transitioning, taking his Earthian spacesuit off. Yes, that was a very sad moment. I started with that to paint out my grief. Started with that painting right after Kenny had left us. It's infinitely sad, and I didn't think I would survive that. And then out of the back of my butt, basically, which is kind of square, rectangular in shape, the proportions are completely wrong, right? In that picture, it's like amorphous, some kind of amorphous blubber shape. And then there is the papa dog coming out. And he came out pretty soon after Kenny died, like 2.5 months later. We got the papa dog. He came there to rescue me. Okay, and Paul wanted to also be depicted in this painting, and I said okay. And then I have some daisies in the painting as well, and the lawn, and that's pretty neat. So I love this painting. That's my absolute favorite painting from all the paintings I have ever made. I am absolutely in love with this beautiful, smooth painting. So gorgeous. And at that time, I was still coloring my hair with henna, with red henna. That's why I made my hair look red and kind of burgundy. So my natural hair used to be dark brown, and underneath here it shows. There it comes through, the dark brown. And then on the top I have salt and pepper, light blue melange mix, right? And then I spray my hair with hydrogen peroxide every day, so to cover up the gray hair. And I don't want to use the henna anymore, because I heard that in India sometimes people are putting lead into different stuff, including food items. That's the ultimate corruption. I find out about this because of my activism, so it is all annoying. Oh my gosh. And that's why we have to have the AGI robots very quickly. They need to come very quickly to rescue all living beings. I don't know why this eyebrow looks so dark and the other one looks gray, but whatever. Yes, I am very, very self-conscious. Trust me on that. Like mega self-conscious. It depends on my mental state that I'm in. I can be, when I'm angry, I'm not so self-conscious. When I'm angry, that whole vanity stuff kind of goes on the back burner, and it gets put into a backfire somehow in my brain. Because when I'm angry, then that dominates. And in that moment, I don't want to say the F word. I don't give a hoot in that moment. So I'm in a good mood right now. I don't want to say the F word. I really don't want to say the F word at all anymore. So I wanted to completely phase out that F word. Okay, that's what I want to do. But it's not easy, and I don't blame anyone if they can't do it. So, but yeah, for example, okay, that brings me to Flagstaff, Arizona. Okay. We were in Flagstaff, Arizona. Yes, you only have to nod. If I remember this correctly, it was Flagstaff, Arizona, on our so-called honeymoon trip with Ludwig and Samantha, our former dogs, Great Dane. And we parked there with our Dolphin Toyota motorhome. That was the shorter motorhome that we first had. And we have taken enormously amazing trips in that motorhome, and also in the Winnebago that we got later. So all of our trips were amazing. They were sometimes very difficult, but overall I give them a 10-star rating, because we always went to hot springs. We went into beautiful nature, hiking Grand Canyon on that honeymoon trip. Grand Canyon and Painted Desert. I got myself a petrified wood rock that's really large, like my hand. I can put my hand in it, polished, really, really nice, amazing. And so when we got to Flagstaff, Arizona, on this rest stop there, I was taking a shower. He hooked up briefly the water to a water spigot that was out there, which I don't think we were even supposed to do, but he did. We had to take a shower. And while I was taking a shower, and Ludwig stayed with me in the motorhome, Paul and Samantha went outside for a walk. And when they went outside, walking around that parking lot and the lawn area, he saw a loose dog. He saw that there were a couple of dogs tied up to some kind of homeless van. And I don't know where the homeless people were. Or like really dysfunctional. They said they had a house. They were really dysfunctional, old hippie type of people. Very, very liberal, left-wing, smoke one and lean back type of people. Okay, that's it. Don't do the over volume. Do not do over volume with that hearing aid. No. I'm mega sensitive. No. No, that causes me mental illness when I hear that. So the computer probably can't pick this up, but it's like shrill sounds like this, even if they're quiet, I don't like it. So anyway, it caused me mental illness. So while he was walking there with Samantha, he saw these dogs tied up to that hippie van, and then one of the dogs got loose, got himself off one of those ropes, ran around in circles on that parking lot of that rest stop. And then there was a guy from Louisiana. And how do I describe that guy? Like in his 60s, ragged looking, alcoholic, mean, like, I don't know, white, could be part Middle Eastern, sort of. Skinny guy. And that guy was wanted to just leave that parking area and go to Las Vegas to go gambling. So the dog got in front of his car, and the dog wouldn't leave. And instead of backing up or trying to avoid hitting the dog, what did the guy, and he had plenty of space to back out and slowly drive around the dog or do something or find. What I would have done is I would have gotten out of the car and I would have tried to catch the dog and would have tried to find the people who have that dog in their custody, or I would have rescued the dog, But no, what did the guy do? He drove over the dog. And Paul saw that, and he saw the tires of that car go right over the dog. And the dog was still alive, and then the couple somehow, they came over, then suddenly they saw that too, then they came running over and they tried to get the dog back, and the dog was all shaken up, and I don't know if he had any injuries, but I can imagine he probably had, And so then he was talking to the couple, and then they said that they have so many rescue dogs, they had to tie them up, and then Paul was so upset, and he came into the motorhome as I was just getting dressed, and he told me that story, and I hurried up. I took Ludwig on the leash, and with Ludwig together I went over to that guy from Louisiana. He was still there doing something on his car, and I confronted him, and I did not care how I looked like, or vanity, or any of these things. It doesn't matter in that moment. I went over there, I confronted him full force, and my Medusa came out, and that guy got scared, and he was obviously also scared of Ludwig, our Harlequin Great Dane, and Ludwig could have slashed him up very, 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 very intensively, and I even threatened to let Ludwig off the leash to get him, and I was so mad. I was so mad. And I don't know, that story just came back into my memory, because when I get mad, when there are animals suffering, or when I see injustice happening, I get very mad, and the ego goes into the back of my head, goes into a dormant state, because then I don't care anymore. And then that guy, he said, the world has no use for you, and I said, I don't give a F what you say and what you think about me, I said to him. And then Paul came over and stood there, and then he said to Paul, you don't have any piss. And if you sick that dog on me, I own you, and those kind of things. Then he was fumbling around in the glove compartment. He was trying to, I don't know, I guess he wanted us to think that he has a gun in there or something, but he obviously didn't. So, because if he had a gun, he probably would have pulled the gun out and pointed the gun at us. And we're very lucky that he didn't have a gun. So. But anyway, I said really horrific things to him. I don't even want to repeat it, what I said. So, and I don't know if I would still talk like this today, because I've done a lot of introspection since then. Yeah. That was like 20 years ago. I've done a lot of introspection. I have done a lot of meditating. Okay, that's why I wanted to read something from Tignatan. Now I forgot to bring my my Kindle over, but that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to read a chapter from Tignatan. Maybe I'll do that another time. I don't have it here right now. So, but I guess maybe I should talk about Tignatan and Jiddu Krishnamurti and S.N. Goenka and discuss some of those things. Remembering, all of these difficult moments in our lives, difficult, dangerous moments also that we have experienced with people, and where my own anger comes up and all of this. And I don't know what the Buddha would do in a situation like this. I'm sure the Buddha would not get angry. I know that Tignatan one time got angry, or maybe a few times, but that was very, very rare. Tignatan, the Buddhist monk from Vietnam, who had a monastery in France and one in Northern California as well. Deer Park Monastery in Northern California. And he would always be back and forth, and he would be writing a whole lot of books and giving lectures. He was in the United States a lot. One time he was giving a lecture somewhere, and there was an older guy, fat older guy from the United States, an evangelical Christian, standing up in the room, starting to shout at him, starting to insult Tignatan, who is a very peaceful person. And there's no need for anyone to insult or attack Tignatan, because Tignatan wasn't hurting anyone. He was peacefully giving his lecture. But the evangelical guy, I don't know, 400, 300 pounds, 500 pounds, I don't know. He was so upset that he thought, I guess he got in there in order to monitor the situation, that Buddhism could take over the United States, right? There's some kind of risk involved in that. That's what goes through their heads. So he stood up and he confronted him and he said, "Don't tell us how to live our lives, and we don't want you here. We want you to go back to Vietnam, where you came from." And at some point, Tignatan got so angry, and he doesn't like that, getting angry at all, that he had to leave the room and go outside to get fresh air. Has like vasoconstriction, which I have. I get angry and I get I get paranoid, I get scared. I have paranoia, brain terror, extrapolations into the future. So I get vasoconstrictions, which causes me breathing problems, and then I think I have heart problems. I'm not sure, but this can eventually cause heart problems. So that's why I have to really pay attention to what I eat, first of all, and I have to pay attention to sleep a lot, and I have to pay attention to meditate a lot, and to feel these things out instead of bottling it up. Feel it out and cry it out. Even the anger, feel the anger in that moment, not suppress it. And Tignatan, he usually kind of tended to suppress the anger a little bit. But he also wanted to do the Tong Len Meditation, which is what people do what the Buddhists do when they get angry. They get into this mental state where they practice mindfulness and giving love to everyone. They start with the ones they love, and then they gradually go over to the ones they don't know, and then they go over to the ones they don't like, or the ones that threaten them. And they give them unconditional love as well. So that's what he did when he was standing outside that seminar building to get air. He was getting into Tong Len and meditating in a standing position, breathing. Breathing has always been an emphasis for Tignatan. He would always write, breathe, baby. I don't know if he said baby, but he said, breathe slowly in and breathe slowly out, and do that over and over, and don't breathe very abruptly or harshly or in an angry way or something. That's not very good. I will talk about that in a moment. I just want to talk about the Tignatan. So he did this, and he was kind of like against feeling anger in a meditation, or he was particularly against beating anger out on a mattress or something like this. He thought that would reinforce anger in general. I didn't notice that it did for me, so it would be a great relief to pound that out, but only when the anger has built up to an unmanageable degree. So I would rather sit with it and feel it, and not do Tong Len in that moment of unconditional love, not in that moment, because then I'm kind of denying what I'm feeling in that moment. As Jiddu Krishnamurti always said, when we're angry, we are the anger, okay, in that moment. So there's no distinction between you and what you feel in any given moment. So I'm not going to deny that. This is what I feel in that moment. I feel angry. Okay, so I let myself feel it. And if it takes longer, then I sit on the couch and just do nothing. Okay, and just feel that. Because if I did anything else, I would be kind of suppressing the anger. I would be brushing that anger off, or brushing it under the rug, where it starts to get moldy and smolder. So it doesn't go anywhere if we suppress it. It's still there. So we have no other choice other than going into our own mind. We have to go into that inwardness meditation process, and we have to go into the ego dissolution funnel. The ego wants to act it out. The ego wants to, like the king of a whale, the soul eater on the internet, which is Philip Jones. I'm sure of it. He wants to. That's how he deals with anger, in quotation marks. He showed me this scale symbol, like scale, like getting even. For what? What are you getting even with? I didn't do anything to you, Philip, okay? But his ego thinks I wronged him by blocking him on Facebook. His ego and I told him why. I don't just block people on Facebook. When I block people on Facebook, I tell them thoroughly why I'm going to block them next, so that they know. Okay, but that didn't make sense to him. He denied all of these accusations, but even if he wasn't these other people, but I'm absolutely certain he is, but let's say he wasn't, if he says to me, he got mad many times, plenty of times in 2 years. He got really mad at me, and he would say, you don't respect me. He's a Latino guy. He needs the woman to be under him. He needs the woman to respect him. It's like, I have always respected you. What makes you think I didn't? Okay? Because I'm an activist, I have my own views, okay? Because I don't see parents as mini gods, so that's why I disrespected you. This is a mega there's so many things I need to talk about. Oh my gosh, so many things I need to talk about. Alright, this talks on right on to this here. This is mega interesting in regards to Latino culture in general. And I know, not, like I said before, not all Latino men are like this, okay? But it seems like the majority of them are, okay? And it's also, and the culture, that always sounds so mellow, or it sounds like culture, it's the culture you need to no. Culture is extreme neurosis, okay? We need to really get the facts straight on this. All culture is neurosis. All culture is mental illness. It's just mass mental illness, that has been that indoctrinates people, and that keeps people brainwashed and brain dirtied is a better word. That keeps people in that loop, because then everyone else is like this, and because people are herd animals, then they will adapt themselves to this neurosis of other people, okay, in order to be part of the group, okay. That's a big problem. So definitely not all of them, but many of them get violent with their wives and girlfriends, with their daughters. I don't know if they get violent with their sons, probably too, but they probably really let it out on the females. So that's my observation on the internet, and also Paul told me about it. So there was, where did I read this now? This is really interesting here. There was some kind of influencer guy on YouTube, a white guy from the United States. And he talked about his Latino girlfriend. And she was nice, she was not aggressive or anything, and she felt safe with him. And this is really, really mega interesting here. They have close family bonds. Even if they had been abused by their parents, they still stay in this contact. They want to stay in that contact. And I don't know 100% about the girl, but there's a lot of indications that lead me to think that she has been mistreated by her father and by other males in the Latino community. And she only wanted to be with that white guy who was nice to her, so where she felt safe, and she didn't even want to be around the Latino community so much anymore. But she still had this family, and again, not all of them, but a lot of them are like this, okay? Don't take offense. Do the inwardness process. That's all I can say to this, okay? So, but she still had this contact with her father and her mother, and she talked to them in Spanish. She was from Mexico, I believe. But they were living in the United States, and she would talk to her father in Spanish. And so what happened was he would observe her the guy would observe his girlfriend when she was talking on the phone with her father and in Spanish, and he observed that she would be talking with a different personality, sort of, not like DID, but she would kind of shape-shift into a different way of talking. He knew some Spanish too, but it wasn't. What he observed was that was more than just the language difference when she would speak Spanish. He observed that she would go into a different mental state when she would speak Spanish. She would be more uptight. She would be more tense. I lived with people from Mexico in LA, and my best friend Sonia Rodriguez from El Salvador, who moved in there after a while, and who came from El Salvador, and her aunt took her in, and she called her aunt Tia, and that means aunt, Tia. And she would address her aunt not with the personal you. They have 3 different types of yous. In German, we have 2 different types of yous. We have the personal, friendly, loving, lovey-dovey you, which is, du, the same as you, of course. And we have the word sie, which is kind of like, in the English language, it shows up in Old English. When they in the Bible or something, thou or thee, like thou shall not lie or whatever, or I love thee or whatever. This has more of an elevated type of, like, a rigid, impersonal type of character. The sie is when we address someone we don't know, some adult we don't know. And I really find fault with that. Okay, I don't like it at all. I like the English language so much better because we only have one you, and that is so much friendlier and nicer. Okay, but in Spanish they have 3 different types of you. So the tia is right in the middle. So it's not totally impersonal like a total stranger, but much more impersonal than the lovey-dovey family unit. How come the tia is being addressed with that impersonal you? That is one elevation more rigid than the friendly you. So all of these things I take mental notes of, And then that story of that influencer guy talking about his Hispanic girlfriend switching characters according to who she talks to and in which language she talks to them. When she talked to him, she was all relaxed and feeling safe and feeling very personal and close and loving. And when she talked to her family, her father, for example, then she would be talking in a very I think they probably did use the personal you, but there's still some kind of element of not trust, of rigidness, of custom, neurosis, this I must be addressing my parents as mini gods, that kind of, like the parents are above her. Oh yeah, very nice. Yes, he's petting his mouse right now. That's very nice, and he likes it. So then he went on, and he talked about he and her making love, and he would test her because he wanted to find out what she feels like when he suddenly starts speaking Spanish to her. So as they were making love, I guess she was on top, he would suddenly say something, "Mia bonita," or something, something in Spanish, "Mia bonita," whatever whale of the ocean or whatever, So he would suddenly speak in Spanish, enchilada mia bonita burrita, okay, and I don't speak Spanish, so I'm just making this up. So I don't know what he said, and suddenly she would back away from him, like really fast. And she would start speaking in Spanish to him and say, "Who are you? What's going on? Why are you in my room?" And it took her a while to come to realize that was her boyfriend. That was still the same person. That indicates massive trauma to me. That story, massive trauma, okay? And very suppressed, very unconscious. Okay, that's why that's so unconscious. When the more things are unconscious, the more it comes out in those kind of ways. Okay, where someone would be startled suddenly to that degree, if the boyfriend suddenly speaks in Spanish. So obviously, she has some PTSD. She linked up something rigid, something threatening with that language, something that demands obedience. My dog has basically told us in his way of speaking that he comes from Latino people somewhere down south, towards Southern California, I don't know. Somewhere like Fresno area or something. Someone rescued him there, and he was totally malnourished. And even when we adopted him, he was still very malnourished. He was still very, very underweight. And he even had he didn't have his full build up of natural muscles. That also, when they're malnourished, then the body takes away from fat and then starts taking away from the muscle tissue as well, in order to protect the brain. This is really the last instance, to rescue the organism, because the brain is the most important part. So the brain has to function, obviously. So yeah, he didn't have he had not muscular dystrophy, but because that's an illness, but he didn't have any fat, and he had some muscles that also had been deflated, let's put it that way. So now all of this is coming back. As he's eating now properly, he is putting on weight, and the natural muscles are now really coming out. I mean, even more. We had never seen a dog with natural muscles like this ever before. Eventually he's gonna be human, and we're not even making him work out or anything. He just runs around the way he wants to, and we play tug of war and stuff like that. So, but his muscles they're really bulking up now. Oh my gosh. Who knows how he's gonna look like in 2 or 3 months? Oh my gosh. Who knows how he's going to look like if he puts on a fat layer on top, when all the tissue and all the muscle stuff, all of that is being fed and bulking up. He won't look the same anymore. That's why we think he's an American bully. So we weren't sure in the beginning because he was so malnourished. That was very hard to tell. But the American bullies, they're bred with the extra muscles, and also the extra wide jaws, and he has enormous muscles on the side of his head. Huge. They're becoming even more huge now. It's like, whew. like that. And he has unbelievable biting power. Oh my goodness. He can bite through any kind of you give him a cow bone, he will bite through it in one bite. Crunch, like that. And so that's why Paul cut him some of those tree branches in shorter pieces, in 8-inch pieces that are really, really thick like this. And I asked Paul to cut off the sharp edges of the twigs that were coming out before, and smooth that all out. And so he has 2 of those log pieces there on the floor, and he chews on that like it's candy, and he just crunches that still alive with sap and everything in it, really strong log. He crunches that off and shreds that off and peels these shreds off, and that's really good for him. It's good exercise for his jaw and for his teeth. So yeah, he has indicated to us with his body language many, many times where he is coming from and what kind of trauma he is coming from. And my videos are there to be eye-openers. My videos are there to make people introspect, to make people reflect on their lives, to make people ask questions. I want people to ask questions more often and not be so quickly intimidated by certain cultures. It doesn't matter what culture you come from. You have to question it. Okay? This is very, very important. The moment you start questioning your culture, you free yourself. You, women in particular, but men too, Philip too, question these things. It takes a bit of mindfulness and meditation and inwardness to sit there in meditation and not suppress any feeling, not run off with that, not retaliate against anyone, but go into your own mind and feel how you feel and not judge it. And not say you need to change how you feel. No, just feel how you feel in that moment, okay? If it's jealousy of Danny, or if it's you feel dumped, just feel it for a moment. And then later ask the question, introspect, ask the question, why did Nikki dump me? Okay, why? There's a reason for it, obviously, I just want to, I give you the full facts here. I do not put up with abuse. I will never, okay? I had an Iranian boyfriend. He hit me. One time he kicked me against the legs. That was it. I was finished with him for good. There was no return, okay? And the way you have treated me, Philip, soul eater, king of mess, under that account in particular, king of mess, you told me to commit suicide. It's like, no, those are not just words. You beat me up, okay, psychologically, and you're proud of it on top of it. And then you think you can have me after that. No, you can't. Okay? Doesn't work that way for me. I don't allow it. I don't allow abuse. Okay? Will never. Okay? If I allowed it, if I was an enabler of this kind of behavior, and there are some women, some Latino women, I have seen also in the suicide prevention group. I'm not going to mention names, but there are some that let their husbands do that to them, and they end up suicidal. Okay, thank you, Blue God. 4, 4, 4, 4. The animal angels. they say, yes, Nicola, that's the truth, what you're saying here. Okay, it's the truth that these women are enabling that violence. And I will never enable that violence. And I want to empower my friend in that group on Facebook, my sweetie friend, okay, sweetie woman, wonderful, kind-hearted woman. Don't enable this, okay? Empower yourself. And if you have to, if he is endangering your life or your kids' lives or your animals' lives, you have to take your animals and your children and you have to get the heck out of there, okay? And that's the truth, okay? This is the truth. Protect yourself. Protect your body, all of you, okay? Protect your bodies. Protect your minds, okay? The energetic, psychological, this is an energetic cloud. It's an energy field that comes at me of someone who wants to get even with me, for I don't even know for what. I didn't do anything wrong. If someone abuses me and I walk away, that is my birthright, okay? I didn't wrong you by not allowing your abuse. Okay, I protected myself. I did not even hit back. I didn't even retaliate, okay? I walk away, and that's my birthright, and you feel wronged. You feel so wronged by that. It must be hurting so bad. And then you want to retaliate, you want to kill me, you threatened me in the chat room many times with a knife, with that scale, and you threatened to burn my house down, you threatened to come over and kill me and do terrible things, okay? Again, this is not gonna happen, okay? It won't happen. Because my Medusa will come out if you did that, and it would get very ugly very quickly. I know how to defend myself, and we have an enormous jaw here, okay? And we have guns, and we have a security system on top of it. So, and also, the verbal abuse, the verbal threats, the psychological abuse, the psychological hate and all of this, that's very abusive too, okay? I see how violent you are, okay? I see that violence. That violence causes me vasoconstriction, it causes me breathing problems, okay? Because it's not just, it's heartbreaking, it could potentially break a heart, this kind of sadness and anger also, and disappointment. I have to protect myself, I protect my family, okay? I'm a fierce protector of my family in particular. My dog is my baby, okay? I give my life to protect my dog. I would also give my life to protect Paul. I love Paul too, okay? I love both of them infinitely much. They're my family, and they're there for me, okay? When I'm sad, they're there for me. Where were you, Philip, when I was sad? You're not there for me, okay? Obviously, when you are angry, you only see your anger. You see red. You cannot see the other person in that moment, okay? And then your culture comes in and reinforces that. And the culture, the mass psychosis. Arjanov used to say religion is psychosis institutionalized, okay? That's very true. And so is culture. Culture is the same as religion. Nationality is the same thing. Okay? Those are things, football teams, the same thing. Okay, that's the kind of neurotic shit that the ego attaches itself to, and then the whole thing gets reinforced, the anger and feeling wronged and all of this. Then you feel like you feel like you are wronged and you are right, and the other person is wrong, and the other person has wronged you, and the other person is the devil or something, and you do not see clearly at all, okay, in that moment. I'm not judging you from a wider perspective. I see that you have enormous issues, okay, and you have been traumatized by your so-called culture and by your parents that you call mini-gods. Heck, they are not, okay? They're stagnator souls. And so are you. Get in line, get into the place that is designated for you, okay? You are not an Elohim. So you called yourself that. You want to be. Yes, you would love to be. Yeah, your ego wants to think he is Elohim. He is some kind of high god. No. Your name is not Elon. Okay. Elon is the Elohim. There's a reason why those names are a match. Okay. Elon is the highest soul. Right now and in history for a very long time back. Okay. Always has been, matter of fact, always has been. So maybe way in the past there was a Buddha soul that was next to kin to the blue god, next in line to the blue god. And he merged at some point with the blue god. He became part of it. So now it is Elohim, okay, the Buddha soul, the highest Buddha soul. He is going to merge with the blue god next, okay? And all of us other regular people, we have to get in line, and we have to get into the place that is our place in our soul development. And there's no hierarchy in it. It just is, Should one raindrop be jealous of another, that the other raindrop happens to be shaken off the leaf first before the other? No, it's just we're raindrops, okay, and we're hanging on a leaf, and some of us are baby souls. It'll take them much longer, much. It will take them eons until they get to that level where they can merge with the infinite cosmos. Okay. A lot of people will disagree with me, and my baby dog is now on his back with this. I would love to show that, but Paul is not allowing me to show. Maybe I can show it partly, the situation here, without showing Paul's face. Now that's what I call love. That is true love, is that? Yes. That's how a dog should be feeling, okay? Safe. 100% safe. And that's also how a woman should be feeling. A woman should not be beaten down like my sweet friend in the suicide prevention group. Okay? A woman should not feel unsafe where she lives. Okay? And then men, they think we're supposed to, they think women are supposed to be serving them with everything, including sex and all. When a woman, Teal Swan talked about this, when a woman does not feel safe, she is not even in the mood at all for that. So when we are in a mental state of fight or flight, okay, I think the sex drive is the first one that goes into a dormant state in that moment. particularly for women, this is the case. So I think people should get informed about biology and psychology on women and men and animals, the different animals, okay? We need to get informed in order to understand the other living being better, okay? Otherwise, there will be a perpetual misunderstanding and expectations and ego and feeling wronged and feeling entitled or feeling like, oh, we are feeling violated and so on, you know. For women who are actually violated, walk away. You can do it, you know. I would rather not have a boyfriend for the rest of my life, okay, and be safe. Okay, so if I find a safe boyfriend, that may happen in the future. That would be an infinite present from the infinite cosmos. Okay, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Okay, I'm not going to ignore warning signs anymore, and I haven't. Paul accuses me of that. You were almost gonna go with Philip, and yeah, I have to admit I had hope, you know, for that. I wanted to. I'm an anti-nihilist. I even, last night I was thinking about this, you know, how I'm kind of embarrassed about this. I kind of, you know, when Philip said he wanted me to have his baby, that felt, you know, I felt happy. I didn't, not in the sense where, yeah, I'm gonna do this or anything. I use my prefrontal cortex with that and my compassion center. I'm not putting a child into the suffering world. But I felt happy in that moment when I thought about this. Yeah, and that it's just a feeling, right? I felt happy. I wanted a baby with him. That in that moment, my body does, you know. So, and then he shows his violent side. And I'm like, okay, no, okay, no way. I have to have a peaceful boyfriend, and I have to feel safe. And all women have to feel safe, and all animals have to feel safe. And men, they don't feel safe psychologically. They're living in the ego. They are constantly in the ego state. The ego is running their lives, okay? So they're constantly feeling threatened psychologically. What if she dumps him? Then he falls into hell. Right? So that is their pain. I see it. I feel sorry for you for that. This is awful. But I'm helping you, and I'm telling you, go into meditation. Go into the inwardness meditation process. You have no other choice. Even if the women in your lives out there enable your misbehavior, your egoic, violent behavior, your life isn't going anywhere. At some point, shit hits the fan, okay? At some point, terrible things happen, okay? Or you do terrible things to others. You want to wait until that happens, where you do something terrible and then you go to prison. And then you go revolving door into prisons. And that still doesn't make, even if Governor Newsom lets you out, your life is still hell. Okay? I see it. And you make other people's lives hell. You make the whole world suffer. This is not going anywhere. Okay? This is not working. Whether you threaten someone psychologically or physically, that's not going anywhere. You make others suffer. You cause people heart problems. You cause me lung problems. Okay? And you make people suicidal. You make people depressed. And in person, you would beat a woman. You would kill me, probably. That's what you would do. This is not going anywhere. Okay? It's just simply not going anywhere. Yes. Oh, yes. 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 Yes, he agrees. Yes. Oh, yes, he is. Oh, you are gorgeous. Oh, yes, 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 you are gorgeous, gorgeous. That is, that is what I call a real dog. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, so the only path we have, whether you are an incel or you feel entitled and you feel wronged and stepped on by other people, or whether you are humble or not, or whatever, whoever you are, you have only one choice, and that is the inwardness meditation process. You have to sit in meditation every single day for an hour, and you have to not act out your anger. You have to never retaliate against another living being. You have to never be violent to a dog or a woman or any living being. Okay? This is the absolute truth that I'm telling you right now. Okay? You have to go into your own mind, and you have to make friends with the inner child, with your own self, the true self that you are. Okay? The psychologically vulnerable infant soul. The little boy, Philip, whatever, Jimmy, whatever your name is. I think the other guys called you Jimmy. I saw that Jimmy guy, the Jimmy account, it's your account. I saw that a few times, and then it disappeared. Yeah, you do this blocking game with me. You want to really beat me, but you have to use the means that you have. Blocking and saying mean things, saying psychologically abusive things, and so on. And then you think you're getting even. No, you're not getting even. Okay? And this is a whole total misunderstanding. Getting even. Okay? Retaliation is a total misunderstanding of existence. Existence doesn't work that way. Okay? You have to go into your own mind, and you have to become clear on what you feel. Okay? And you need to sum up the courage, and you need to talk to a woman, the woman you have issues with, or the woman who has hurt you or that you feel hurt from. Okay? The woman who you are supposed to love. Okay? Talk to that woman. Don't duck away for 2+ years from a video chat, making excuses after excuses why you can't do video chat. If you want to say something to her, say it to her face. Show yourself in the video chat. Okay? For me to trust a man, I have to do video chat. If the man constantly ducks away, as Philip has, at some point I'm done. Okay? I will drop that person. In this case, I link him up with these other accounts on YouTube. But even if I didn't link him up with the other accounts, I have to walk away from him anyway, because he does not show himself in video chats, and I've given him more than 2 years of a chance for a video chat, and I asked for that many times, and he would not do it. So I can't trust him. No. To me, this is particularly when he talks about getting together in all of this, in person. I have to do video chat, and if he doesn't do video chat, I'm done. I'm not going to let someone lead me on indefinitely. So whether he is the other people or not, it doesn't even matter. If they're 2 different people or several different people, then they all have the same issues, the same emotional pain, and my videos are addressed to violent men in general, and my plea, my petition to them is to go into the inwardness meditation process and give this a real chance, and make friends with the true self that you are. Okay? And then sum up the courage and go up to a woman and talk to her and say, this hurt me, I'm jealous, or whatever, that you flirted with this or that guy. I'm jealous, and I just wanted to express that to you. And I need to cry, and I need to talk about this. You have no idea how much respect that will gain you with a woman, okay? Any woman would be very impressed by that. We're not impressed by your ego trying to boast himself into something that he's not, a king or whatever. You are not a king, okay? You are one out of 8 billion pawns on this planet, and let's just accept that. And there are some Mexican men who are humble, who truly are, and who say, I'm just a pawn. I respect them way more than someone who tries to boast himself and show himself with big muscles and so on. That's not that impressive to us. We only trust people who are genuine and who are who they really are and who are humble, okay? Jesus Christ apparently has talked about this. Are you ever listening to that? Humble down, man. Humble down. Go into the inwardness meditation process and come clean with yourself. And look a woman into the eyes and talk to her, okay? Peace and love.